Welcome on Trivia for the Hebrews.
Friends, to real friends, to the real end, to the real fall out, to the wheels don't spin. Yeah. To 3 a.m. Call it. How many real friends? Just to ask you a question, just to see how you was feeling. How many? For the last you was running. I hate when a nigga text you like, what's up, fam? Hope you good. You say I'm good, I'm great. The next day.
Alright, cut that, man. I'm gonna get straight to the point, you know. What's up, Negro? What's up, black man? What's up, African American? What's up, Moorish American? What's up, indigenous American? What's up, Anasazi American? Salute, Shabbat, war and peace, higher, higher. I come to y'all today and I'm talking to all y'all, and I want to send a couple, like my boy say, drops to my boy King Drop and to my boy Lex Will. Thank y'all for what y'all doing. It's very inspiring and it's very angelistic. Alright? So big ups to you. Appreciate you. And but I wanna sort of put this information together, okay? I got a link for y'all to go to, and it's a long ass link, but I want to tell you why, okay? I want to bust it down for you, okay? Remember, we was in the Bible for Deuteronomy 34, the Old Testament, Deuteronomy 34. Deuteronomy is the death of Moses. Deuteronomy is the death of Moses, and Deuteronomy says, like we already know, then Moses climbed Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab, okay? So, Moab, when you Google Earth that, you'll get the plains of Utah, okay? So, and remember this, the book that I told y'all about, Lex Will, I dropped that book to you, and King Drop, I dropped that book to you, and all the African Americans, everybody, I dropped that book to y'all, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, okay? It's called, I dropped that book, hit them over the head with some real shit. That was that book that I dropped. It was actually the Black American Handbook for Survival in the 21st Century, by honorable Miss Reverend Radine Amin-Ra Harrison, okay? And in that book, well, she broke down the Anasazi, okay? The Anasazi American. Okay, the Anasazi is not a tribe. Anasazi, which is a Navajo word meaning pretty much the very first. Okay, so in that book, so now we remember Christopher Columbus, right? And all of, you know, the bullshit that he was writing, all his scrolls. Okay, Christopher Columbus had a number of scrolls. He had the Book of Privileges, the claimant of the New World. He had the Papal Bull, papacy. He had the Solemn Bulls. He had the Bibliothèque of Columbia. That was 1301 to 1502. And then he had the Dum Diverses. And so, you know, that was papacy. You know, when paper started, so they called it papacy, and it actually went into the fucking literature, law, and everything else. You understand what I'm saying? It was authoritates of King Drop, authoritates of him being relayed orders to Savage and Pillis and take over the land, get the land. That's what they wanted, the land, okay, and its resources, the gold and everything else. Okay, so that was 1301 to 1502 AD. That's when the pillages and all the voyages of Christopher Columbus. Okay, so to the Americas, which was the New World. Okay, so in that book that I tell y'all about, right? So now I go to the United Nations, the UN website. The UN website is, you understand, is where, The Department of Interiors is what I actually went into. And you know what? We all know what Department of Interiors is. They're a branch of the United Nations that control native land. They control all the inside shit that you ain't supposed to know about. The land, the indigenous ethnicities, the indigenous Indians. You understand? Okay, so I go onto their website. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the website, like Lex Will, King Drop. I want y'all, to be able to look at this for yourself. Okay, so okay, we go into the U.S. Department, DOI.gov/tribes. Okay, now they got some bullshit, but then you go into the search, right? You go into the search and you type in this. Hold up. This is what the website looks like, so you'll know. You probably, never mind, you probably can't see it, but it says tribal nations, then you go into the search, and then you type Negro Indians, right? Type in Negro Indians. You type in Negro Indians, okay? And then you get a whole bunch of PDFs, a whole bunch of documentation, on those matters, African Americans, but then we see, okay, who were the Anasazi, right? And there's a website. It's a who were the Anasazi -blm.gov. But then there's a long ass website, right? There's a long ass website, and we know why they give us the long ass website, so it deters. That means deter you, and then you'll be like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But it's a long ass website. Let me give it to you. Okay. That website is www.blm.gov/co/st/ahc/who lower, what is that, lower hyphen were lower hyphen the lower hyphen Anasazi.html. Okay, then you go into that website, right? Okay, so once you type that out, once you type that out on that website, okay, it's going to give you I tried to type it out without having to go all the way in it. Okay, but you type that BLM out, you type that the website out, right? And it's going to take you to who were the ancestral Pueblo people, Anasazi, in parentheses. Right? This is recorded from the UN, the United Nations Department of Interior, okay, on their website. So it's something like a manuscripto. You understand what I'm saying? It's something like the Biblioteca. The Biblioteca, which was from 1301 to 1502, the Biblioteca was actually pretty much describing, you understand? Christopher Columbus was describing what he seen, what was here. I'm pretty sure they brought, this is from archaeologists though. This is from researchers. Okay, so let's continue to read. So it says, who were the ancestral Pueblo people, Anasazi? They were the ancestors of the modern Pueblo people. Today, about 20 communities living in New Mexico and Arizona. Okay, There is an extensive literature available about the culture of modern and historic Pueblo people. There never was an Anasazi tribe, because remember I told you it's not a tribe, it's people, meaning the first people. There never was an Anasazi tribe, nor did anyone call themselves by the name of Anasazi. By that name, Anasazi is originally a Navajo word that archaeologists applied to people who farmed the Four Corners before 13 AD. So it's not the Bering Strait Asian, Indian, the desert Indian. No, nah, these were people that we didn't even fucking build too many statues. We were strictly about nature. Our survival was off nature. We knew every plant that there was. Okay? And so, all right, archaeologists identified a culture through its artifacts. Since members of a culture share traditions of architectural, craft symbols, etc., when the Anasazi, they even call them Anasazi, when the Anasazi or Pueblo culture began is a matter of definition, because there is no single event or trait which defines it. The earliest traces of the culture date before AD, perhaps early as 1500 BC. All right, so we know. All right, let's date it. Okay, they said, which is probably, they're lying. You know what I'm saying? But because it was earlier than that. But what they're saying is that 1500 BC. Okay, so 1500 BC, where were we at? You understand what I'm saying? Of course, we were in Americas. 1500 BC, where was the Caucasian at? Oh, 1500, no. Let's see. No. He was trying to establish himself in Europe, because 1500 BC, even in Egypt, 1500 BC, that was around the high school's invasion to Egypt. You understand? And the high schools, they really never really say who, but they were they were damn near saying that they were like Mexicans. The high schools, they were damn near saying that they were Mexican. Okay, so that was around 1516 to 1400 BC. Different researchers have different time dates, but it's between that area. Okay, 15 BC, there was no Christopher Columbus. You understand? There was no Christopher Columbus, 1500 BC. Okay, so in characteristics kind of basketry, sandals, arts, tools, architecture, settlement patterns, and agriculture. Okay, according to the Pueblo oral traditions, different groups came from different directions and points of origin before meeting to form the clans and communities of today. Modern Pueblos speak several different languages and do not share common term of their ancestors. Okay, we talking about the ones now don't share the common terms that we share nor spoke. Okay, according to the Pueblo's oral tradition. Okay, so the Hopi name is Hisasinum. Okay, the ancestral Pueblonian homeland was center of the Four Corners region, the Colorado Plateau, southern Utah. The Colorado Plateau, southern Utah. Remember we said Moab in Deuteronomy 34, the death of Moses, where he named the land. That was one of the states where Utah. You understand? Moab, northern Arizona, northwestern Mexico, and a lesser section of Colorado, where their occupation lasted until 1280 or so. By 13 AD, the population centers had shifted south. You know what that means? Shifted south, that means slavery was going down. And if it wasn't slavery, we was getting pushed out. You understand? So it was slavery and we was getting relocated. Okay, so Centers the population of New Mexico and the Mogollon Realm in central Arizona, where related people had already been living for centuries. So we were all over these Americas, man. The Spanish who arrived in the 1500s named them the Pueblos. So the Spanish named us the Pueblos, okay, meaning villagers, as distant from nomadic people, okay. Modern Pueblo people dislike the name Anasazi. That means the people today dislike the name Anasazi, which they consider an ethnic slur, right? The Navajo words means ancient enemy, right? But you got to think about it. We're their ancient enemy because we're their ancient forefathers. That's why. And they betrayed us. You understand? They betrayed us. So therefore now to say Anasazi is a slur to them, because now it would be like the jig is up type shit. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm going to keep saying Anasazi because I'm letting them motherfuckers know that the jig is up. The Negroes are the Anasazi because we are the first ones on these lands. Okay? So, or old time stranger, alien, foreigner, outside. Yeah, they kicked us out. They kicked us out. Okay? Although it has been in common use for about 70 years, here's an excerpt from Dr. William Lippy's comment on the subject. The earliest published reference, wait a minute, did y'all hear me? Negroes, I'm talking to y'all. You are the Anasazi, American, indigenous American. You ain't come from Africa, Negro. You ain't come from Africa. The trick is up, all right? Okay, so the earliest published reference by Kadar in the mid-1930s, J.O. Brew, 1946, rails against the term of the term Anasazi on the grounds that the Navajo term is inappropriate for obvious Pueblo culture. What they saying is that we had two different cultures. We knew all the plants. What them niggas do, the modern niggas now, what they doing? They trying to know all the money. You know what I'm saying? They building casinos and they got the land, they traded, they sold our land, you know what I'm saying, to the Spanish government. They sold our land to them, and in return they got little sections of land that's way off. You know what I'm saying? They sold the land that's in the middle of the land, in the middle of the states, and got off a piece of corner so they'll be out the way from us. So us Negroes wouldn't realize what the fuck going on. Cause they way off, they way out. We don't see them. You understand? They got small little cities and they on their reservation, so they never have to come off. That's because they hiding from us, because they don't want us to know that we're their forefathers. You get it? All right. So has proceedings in literature would just continue the reference on this culture. You know, I guess that the Navajo word caught on the middle 1930s with archaeologists because it did not imply any particular culture relationship. It was bad practice to prejudge the historical conclusions by identifying prehistoric archaeological complex with some historical. So basically what it's saying is that what I just said, we were the forest people. They don't give a fuck about the forest. All right. But today, however, no doubt remains that these prehistoric people were ancestral to modern Pueblos, however you want to say it, who insist that their ancestors did not permanently abandon their former territories. Modern Pueblos, which are Anasazi, still make and maintain shrines in the Four Corner region. That means we got shrines. That means we have small organizations. Know what I'm saying? Small organization like, you know, like what she's trying to do. She's trying to organize because they ain't letting us in. So she has to organize small organizations. You understand? Where we can register in that and acknowledge that. You understand what I'm saying? And acknowledge that, because King Drop, me and you were discussing that, you know, okay, yeah, let's not claim, you know what I'm saying, to anything in the system, because the system is what enslaves us. But you got to remember, we're not off the grid yet. We ain't off the grid. And I know in every state, African American Negroes are dying by the police department. So we ain't off the grid yet. And it maybe take us 6 months, maybe 6 years. So until then, we have to understand what's going on the grid. You know, because we're on the grid, and our people on the grid, and our family is on the grid. You understand? So we can't block it out and say, okay, we can't deal with none of that because soon we're gonna be off the land. But we steady getting caught on the grid. You get what I'm saying? If we don't know what's going on, we ain't even gonna be able to move off the grid. We're gonna be stuck in the grid. You understand? Stuck in the matrix. So we have to keep up with what's going on, especially with the United Nations. Especially with the United Nations. Because we know how much control and power that they have, even if we don't like them. You know what I'm saying? So Negroes, listen to me. You got to stop calling yourself African Americans, because the UN subscribe that is an immigrant. Because you know why? They ain't saying it, but Africa ain't claiming you. And that's why. If Africa was claiming you, then it'd be okay. You know what I'm saying? It'd be okay in some way, shape, or form. But it's not. You feel what I'm saying? It's like we've been played a trick on by both sides, because Africa, no, they don't even call themselves Africa. You know, they know that's some corporation shit. You understand? So, you know, I got plenty of friends that they either Mandingo, they either Nigerian, Mali, you understand what I'm saying, or Sudanese. You understand? They're not African. They just say that with us. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go back home to Africa. You know what I'm saying? When they talking to us, but when they're talking amongst themselves, then they don't say that. You understand? So y'all gotta understand that you do have a place, and you don't have to feel left out. You know what I'm saying? Because this is your land, this is your home. Whether you buy it or whether if you get it back, you know, for your ancestors. And if you think about it, we all related to some land here and other. You know, it's just that our families broke up. But some got land down south, some got land up north. But the land is what ties us. So I want y'all to understand that. And like I said, if y'all ain't rolling with us, we rolling over you. Okay? This Bradford, aka Hiram Art, aka Steve Jones. Love, peace, and war at the same time. And I hope we can build from this. Let me know your comments. Somebody learn with me, build with me, teach with me. Help us all. Shabbat.